Now today I'm going to be making a lamb ragout. Now that's going to be absolutely delicious because we're going to be using lamb neck fillet, which is a really tasty piece of the lamb. It's soft and it's deep flavoured and it's going to taste wonderful. So give this a go. So just to go through the ingredients, now I've got me lamb neck fillets there. In terms of weight, mine weigh a total of about 1 kilogram, which is about 2.2 pounds in weight. Now what you want to do with those is trim off any excess fat because you don't want to add too much fat. So trim that off. Now these will need cooking for a couple of hours to make them really soft, melt in your mouth. And what I'm going to do is, apart from season them, just going to chop them up into nice chunky pieces. So when you're eating your stew, your ragout, it's going to be lovely and you've got big juicy pieces of meat. So there's the lamb neck fillets. Now rest of it is going to be a couple of onions. Now I've got some potatoes here. Now you can use like new potatoes, the ones you boil for ages and they don't sort of break down. Now I've roughly got about 400 grams of potatoes, and say scrub them on the outside to sort of clean them off. And with these ones, because they're fairly chunky, I'll probably chop them in half. Now I've got some carrots, little baby carrots, but you know, any carrots really. And what I'd say is always wash your vegetables. I'll probably, you know, trim off the ends and, you know, add them in the pot. Now I've also got 4 tomatoes. Now when you buy your tomatoes, smell them. If they smell good, they're generally going to taste good. So, you know, try and get some nice tomatoes because it is a good part of this dish. Now what I'm going to do with my tomatoes is skin them. The way you do that is put them in boiling hot water, probably for about a minute, take them out, put them in some cold water, and then you can sort of peel back the skin. It just keeps your life nice and simple. And that will give a slight tomato flavour to this beautiful ragout. Now I've also got some fresh thyme, a couple of sprigs of that. I've got 2 or 3, well probably 4 actually, bay leaves. And I've got 3 cloves of garlic. Now with the garlics, peel those cloves, and what I'm going to do with those is to crush them. Now I've probably got about 1 heaped tablespoon of plain flour. A tablespoon's the big spoon. Salt and pepper seasoning. You know, you need to season the meat, season the dish to bring out the flavours. And apart from that, just going to add a little bit of water and also some oil for frying off the meat. So there's all the ingredients, nice simple ingredients, but it comes out really tasty. So now I've gone through the ingredients. Now what I'm going to do is get them all washed, all prepped, and I'm going to go over to the hob and we're going to get on with the cooking. So I've come over to the hob, I've got myself a pan with a lid, which we'll need a little bit later on. Now I'm going to start with a little bit of oil in the pan, just enough really to kind of fry off the piece of meat. Now let's switch the heat on. I probably want to put it about a medium heat, so let that come up to temperature and then we'll put the piece of meat in there. Now my pan's just come up to temperature, so I'm going to pop my meat in there. Season it with salt and pepper, and then what you want to do is turn them round and try and get a little bit of colour all the way round. Now I've been cooking the meat pretty much for about 10 minutes, got a lovely colour, moved them around, so just going to take those all out the pan. Now next of all, we're going to put the onions in. So swoosh them around, get those flavours on those onions. Now the onions, I've had those cooking for pretty much 10 minutes. So we did 10 minutes with the meat, 10 minutes with the onion. You want to make sure the onions have got a nice colour on them and they've softened down. Look at those, beautiful. Now don't worry about the bottom of the pan because we're going to put some water in there eventually and it'll just, all the flavour's going to come off. Now I've got my crushed garlic here, so show you that. Now let's put that in. Now with the garlic, it's been crushed, so really you only want to cook this for about 30 seconds or so. Just mix it around, it's going to give it a good flavour. Garlic goes so well with the lamb. Now let's put the lamb pieces back in. With any of those juices, get those out as well. Next of all, we're going to season it. A little bit of salt and pepper. Brings out the flavour. Bit of salt, pepper. Now once you've done that, give it all a mix around. You see at the bottom of the pan, all those flavours are lifting off a little bit. Lovely. Now what I say is, at this point, you probably want to put in the flour. So, just pop the flour in there. Now, give this a really good mix around. What you want to do is cook that flour off a little bit. I'd say for a minute or two. And that's going to help to thicken up and make a nice sauce. That's it, I've moved that around for about a minute. Now let's put in some liquid. And again, it's going to lift off all those flavours from the bottom of the pan. Now I'm probably adding about, roughly about 600 millilitres of water. So let's move that around. Now I think what we can do again is to put in bay leaves and the thyme. Now I brought that to the boil, put the lid on there, switch it off the heat, and then we're going to place it in the oven. Obviously make sure you've got a lid. Now we're going to do this at a fairly low temperature. Now temperature wise, I've got mine set to 140 degrees Celsius, which is 280 degrees Fahrenheit, gas mark 1. So it's a nice low heat, and what I would say is you want to cook for about an hour or so. And then after that, we're going to put the rest of the ingredients and finish it off. Now I've been cooking the lamb ragout for coming up for an hour. Now what I've been doing is just occasionally give it a little bit of stir around. Beautiful. Smells absolutely wonderful. Now I think it's a good time to put in the potatoes and the carrots, so pop those in. And also, let's put the tomatoes in there as well. Now what I would say is, give it all a bit of a mix around. Get everything in that liquid. And what you want to do is just put a lid on there and cook that, I would say, for another hour until everything is nicely broken down. So pop the lid on, put it back in the oven, same temperature, keep it cooking. Now since I put the vegetable in, I end up leaving mine a little bit longer. I left it for an hour and a half. Now the meat has been cooking for a total of 2.5 hours, and really that's what it's all about. So look at that, beautiful. Let's put it on the table and we're going to see how it is. Now let's just try this. For me, when you make a stew or, you know, lamb ragout, whatever you make, it's all about the meat. Now this meat, look, you can see it's pull apart, melt in your mouth. Delicious. Let's just try this. Oh. Oh yeah. That has really got a nice deep flavour. What I'd say is when you're cooking things like lamb neck, you probably want to cook it until it's nice and soft. 2.5 hours. And obviously adjust the vegetables to suit, but that is absolutely delicious. And obviously get a little bit of bread in there, soak up those juices. Look at that sauce. That's a lovely sauce. Full of flavour. Obviously you've got a potato there. Now, it depends what potato you use, but you know, some of them a little bit softer than others, but that's good. And you've got the carrot there as well. So, lovely mixture, wonderful flavours. Thanks for watching my videos, and I hope you enjoy all the rest of them that I do. Lovely. Don't forget to subscribe, leave the comments, the ratings, because I really do appreciate that. Thanks again, the original Naked Chef. Wonderful.